What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel and to another video on the Golf. So in the last episode you saw we got the rear beam mount back on, chassis rails on, outer sill, arch and the lower rear corner. Well happy with that. Car's starting to look like a car again. Feel like we made some massive progress with that, putting sort of pressed panels on and making the outside of the car look like the car again. This episode we're going to start tackling this floor. So as the rot was throughout the whole floor pan, we had to take the whole thing out. Now I've cut it back to the tunnel, and obviously it came all the way out here, cut it at the front. We've cut up into the car as well. I have gone back and tidied a bit of that up to make fitting the new one easier, which I will show you. I have also got this floor fitting already. I came in and did that yesterday, and I didn't film it because there was a lot of standing around thinking, trying this, cutting that in, out, in, out, in, out, and I really wouldn't have been able to film it very well. So, the way that I've done it is, on this at the top, you've got a lip that I think came straight out like that went into the joint for where it would fit on the factory. We're not doing that. So I've cut that off. There was a lip round here again that would have gone into this sort of joint in here on the factory, which I've got rid of. We've trimmed an angle on this piece, cut a relief here to get around this floor piece here, straightened this lip out that goes onto the sill because it was a bit wavy, and then we've trimmed and cut this side out because this piece obviously came around and finished as though it went up into the tunnel. So we've cut a bit of that off. What I've also then done, if you'll be able to pick it up on camera, I've used my flanging tool to create a flange on here. Now, let's chuck it in the car and see how it fits. So it's in, it isn't in exactly the right place, but I've not screwed it in or anything. I've used wood screws again to screw this and get it all pulled into place in the correct place. We then sent the grinder through here, and this all matches. Again, I've not put it in the right place. It all does fit correctly. This piece here sits onto this, but it's not clamped right. And then we'll be welding this piece to the floor and this piece all in here as well, and then putting this chassis rail back on. We've got to repair all this area here where this is rotted away, which we will do. Is going to probably be the first job, but the idea is going to be that we can sort of seam weld all of this. This here then is sort of it's got the flange on, so it's lipped over. We'll seam weld it on the bottom, seam weld the front, pretty much all of it. So coming inside, obviously it's not bang on in position, but this piece here will knock back and we'll weld that there. This piece, this is why we've trimmed all of this, so it will sort of butt and we can seam weld that. Down this edge here, it's not clamped. This is obviously what we've got to fix and repair, and I think I'm going to do it in 2 stages. We'll replace this piece and then we'll replace another piece up here. So when I cut the floor out, I purposefully made sure that I left this runner in the car. The other one I didn't have the choice because it's fitted to the floor pan and the floor pan had gone, so they had to come out. But this one stayed in the car, and I purposefully wanted to leave it in the car so I'd got a reference point for everything else to go back in. So we're going to be welding this at this point here, which it's all trimmed and cut through both skins, so it's in the right place. I've just got to clamp it into the correct place. We've got to also try and fix this here, which has rotted away, which again I don't think will be too bad. It's just going to take a little bit of time. So that's enough waffling on about what I've sort of done up to this point. I'm going to take this out, make a start on this rear sort of lower seat area, get that fixed. We'll then pop this back in and then make a game plan for this central rail. So all I've done is cut a very simple panel for this piece. You've got that fold which creates this lip, and then I've just put another return fold just to weld it to the inner sill. That goes in there and clamps on. I've gone over and scraped onto it, scribed onto it where I want to send the grinder through to not go getting in any of these details that are in this panel. So I'm going to clamp this on, get the grinder, cut through both pieces to get this in the right place. We'll then probably tack this in and then look at what's got to go on with repairing the rest of it. Now this other piece might be a little more difficult because it's got sort of a contour to it, but hopefully this bit will be easy. You'll be happy to know, found the guide for it as well. Right, there's that cut out, and then that's that clamped in place and where it needs to be, looking pretty good. Let's try the flooring and just make sure that it all sort of looks right. It's down there. Looking pretty good. So, I'll show you around here. So it's looking good, everything's where it needs to be. This is touching where it needs to touch there, that's touching where it needs to go there, so it's in the correct place. It does need to go that way a little bit, but I think when it's welded, we'll be able to twist and bend this to get it in the correct place. But that's that one, so let's get this area cleaned up, get that tacked in, and then we can start looking at making this little piece in here. And there's that piece in, warts and all. Pretty happy with how the contours have all fitted and worked. Around the back, nice bit of penetration coming through the back, bit to clean off at the back. Looking good. So get that fully welded up, get it dressed, and then hopefully we can get the floor in and start looking at this piece. So there's that lower repaired. We've replaced all of this piece here, and then we've replaced, you can see, a patch in there. Now it isn't 100% finished, but it's enough. This is an indent that's in the panel here. So it is sort of correct. I do need to knock it a little bit from the back, but it's about there. Next bit to sort is all of this rust in this here, and it does extend into the panel a little bit. It's absolutely freezing in there, so hoods up, keep warm. So what I've made is this piece. So this is, yeah, all bent and all sorts. Now, I've done this. Did this the old favourite trick thing. We're doing it with 2 pieces of ply, that piece screwed into the middle of it, and then hammered the edge round because it's curved that end and that end as well. I then slit it in the middle to create the bend that I need, and this piece slots just in there like that, and we're going to replace all of that metal. So we're going to cut to about this line and then weld this in, which will then replace that lower part. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it out, and then I don't think I'm going to weld it in until the floor is in, so I know that I've got it definitely in the right place. But I'm going to cut this out now so it's out and I've got all the room with the floor being out. So get this side cut out, we'll make the other side, then we'll cut the other side as well. And there we go, those pieces are now made. So this one, we've got a bit of fettling and fiddling to do at the ends of them, but it's on. I've offered the floor on and it fits correctly. This side, same, sorry about that light, same there, fits all nicely. So fit beautifully. Floor sits where it all needs to. There's obviously a little bit of bending and manipulation still to do as we sort of weld them in and get them in place. But we've cut all the rot out of this piece now, which is amazing. So I need to clean all these pieces up, clean the floor up, get areas primed, then we can get these welded in and finished. So I've got to sort this out here. If you can see, there's this corner missing. Now that shouldn't be too big an issue. And then it's going to probably be slinging this flooring, which is going to be a massive milestone for this. Hopefully all the prep work I've done to that will be correct. So let's get these bits cleaned up and then all welded in, and then we can start putting the floor in. So I haven't really filmed a lot for the past few days because I haven't really been doing much. It's been more faffing about cleaning and sorting things out. But we have got these bits sorted. So if you remember, this rear part of the seat was rusty pretty much all the way along. We fixed that. I've also now decided that instead of it was in the car, I was going to fix that, which is now fixed, all done, welded in. We put a little plate in this corner. Rest of it was pretty much okay. This seat rail here is all sorted now as well. You can probably see a bit here where I need to just chuck a little bit more weld on it, but we've repaired this lower section, welding on the back. I've left all there to give it a bit of strength, and then this section here was all fixed as well. So that's all nice and solid now, looking good. So here's the floor panel that's going in. It's been cut to size, it fits exactly where it needs to do. I'm really happy with how it fits. I've gone along and put some holes down here for spot weld, plug welding, plug weld holes down there. Hopefully it'll work. Fits nice, it screws up, fixes really nice. So now I've got this sorted, let's get it in the car, get it clamped in place, and then start welding it in. Floor in the car. Now someone did mention in the last video that instead of using wood screws to screw parts together, I should use Clecos. Yes, I should. But I haven't got any Clecos. I haven't really got any money to go buy a set of Clecos, and I need it now, not in a week's time. I've got wood screws, I've got a drill bit, I've got a screwdriver. So that's what we're going to use. Seems to work all right. Using these as well, these are brilliant little bits of kit. They're not the easiest to use. Like now I'm going to have to roll the car over to get my hand in to do it. Hopefully. Maybe not. Let's try this one. Yeah, right. Beautiful, beautiful. So that's now right. Let's clamp on this back flange. Right, and now I'm going to work along this edge, some more of these little panel clamps to get this edge nice and right. Then drop the car down a bit to be able to reach in. That's on. So you can see here this flange that I've put on and where the screws are coming through, and that we're going to weld on. These clamps down here, holding this in place. We've got the clamps on the back. And then this obviously needs pushing down, which is not quite in the right place, but we'll get that in. And then up here, we've cut all this lip off. We're going to knock this all back and then seam weld it all into the car. There she is, clamped in place, looking good. So I'm going to have to move the clamps as I'm welding it. I'm only welding little bits because I've not got many clamps. But it's on, it's in the correct place. It's looking amazing. I'm so excited to have a floor back in this car. It's amazing. So, let's switch to the GoPro, fire up the old welder, see if we can get this welded in the car. And there is one welded in, well, it's tacked in, but it's in, finished floor. Looking absolutely awesome. So we've got nice penetration coming through all the way along this edge. Like I say, the front is, I've only tacked it for now, because I'll weld it in properly when all this comes out. But yeah, looking absolutely mega. So we've repaired all this corner. This had all rotted all the way along. This had rotted most out as well, so we've fixed that and got all that back in. We've also fixed all of this as well, because again, this had rotted all the way along. This isn't welded in yet. We need to push this into the right place and tack that in. But we've fixed this, and we've also fixed this side as well. I've left a bit of buildable weld on there, because for strength, when it's all sand deadened and that, you'll never tell, and it's under the seat as well. And then under here as well, we've plug welded it on here, plug welded it all the way along here. I've not done anything with the front yet because I want to get this plate on so we know it's all flat, and then we'll probably seam weld that all the way along. And then down here we've obviously seam welded it all the way along. Up to here is where this lip is, and then here is just a butt join, and then around the back. Warts and all on the welds. They're not amazing, but they will clean up okay. So yeah, next thing's going to be clean them welds up, get a bit of primer on it, and then we can look at moving on to something else. there we have it, all welded in, mostly dressed up. I've put this plate in here as well and welded down this edge. Weld along there. I've purposely left bits on for sort of strength really. It's going to be covered in under seal. Back, still got to do that one, whoops. But yeah, mostly welded up and on. I can't begin to tell you how happy having that floor in that car makes me. At one point, as you know from watching the video, it felt like I'd bitten off more than I can chew, and that it was just all going to go wrong. I didn't know how to put it all back together. Turns out I kind of do. So, floor's in. Let's roll it down and I'll show you the inside. So it's not really any different to the last when we saw it. I've tidied up that back edge a little bit and chucked a bit of primer on it. Nothing major. The inside will be fully sorted out when this comes out. But considering it all looked like that, and like that with holes in, and it now looks like that, all nice solid metal, and that all nice and solid again, I am so happy about it. Feels like a massive achievement getting that floor in. Absolutely amazing, such a good feeling. That is how I fitted the floor into the Golf. Now, I imagine I'm going to get some comments saying you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that, you shouldn't have done the other. Never done it before. Did it the way that I thought I should do it. Did it a way that was sort of, not easiest, but a way that made sense to me. It's in, it's solid, I've stood on it, I've jumped on it, it isn't going anywhere, so I'm hoping that it's okay. Leaving that gap, that 1mm gap when you're butt welding, makes such a difference for cleaning it back. You know that you've got weld in the gap. If they're butted up, you grind it off. You don't really know if there's any metal gone in there. You should have done, but this way you know. As ever, I want to say a huge thank you to Heritage Parts Centre for sponsoring the channel, this build, and for helping me out. So if this is the first video you've seen of this Golf series, get yourself back, watch the rest of them. There's a link in the description to the rest of the series. You won't know that Heritage Parts Centre have very kindly given me a discount code for you guys to use. So if you visit heritagepartscentre.com, put everything in your basket that you want, use the code CHAMBERS at the checkout, will get you 10% off your order. So you might notice that I've lost the woolly hat for the day, and I'm wearing a nice brand new DAC Industries snapback. Black on black snapback. We've got black peak and green under peak. I've only got limited stock, so drop me a DM or an email to see if I've got any stock left. So we'll leave that one there then, guys. From me, sat on my nice new solid floor in the Golf that isn't rusty and hasn't got holes in, thank you all so much for watching. It does really mean so much. We are still chasing 20,000 subscribers, so if you don't already, do please consider clicking that subscribe button. Press the bell to get notified. Like the video, drop us a comment, let us know what you think. And yeah, we'll leave that one there, guys. Thank you so much. Until next time, enjoy.